Hi, my name is Victor and I am the product manager of the Configure group. And this is our monthly release kickoff. So let's get started. As you can see in our planning issue, we have a bunch of goals. The reason why we have so many is twofold. First, we are getting more and more focused on smaller sized epics usually. And this allows us to target more teams, more epics in a given direction. And as well, we are actually closing down two directions given the reorganization that just happened and one of our team members leaving. And we are starting in new directions as well with Auto DevOps. So the goals we have is to get ready for 14.0 in terms of deprecations and removals. This is the number one goal that we have. We have been working on this for more than 3 months now, slowly getting more and more features to enable the integrations GitLab has today without the one-click GitLab managed apps. The second goal we have is to get ready for the design sprint in Auto DevOps. With Auto DevOps, we received this category to lead a few months ago, and we're a bit slow here, but finally we managed to finish, and we actually want to even have design sprint at the very end of the milestone or very beginning of the next one. The third goal is to ship the Terraform registry. We have a very well-defined scope there. It seems to be feasible, so it's one of our deliverables. And once we ship it, we will actually turn our attention away from infrastructure code and Terraform development to focusing on Auto DevOps and Kubernetes management. The same is in a sense true to secrets management, where we did this change by the end of these milestones. Once we are done with the ongoing developments, we won't focus on secrets management as an actively developed direction anymore. Simply, we don't have the bandwidth for that. As a result, our focus will be Auto DevOps and Kubernetes management. The other issues are in Kubernetes integration. We have a CI tunnel. The first iteration is to be able to deploy from a runner job into your cluster using the GitLab Kubernetes agent, using the agent's identity and its access rights. This means that the user doesn't have to set up all kinds of Kubernetes configurations and anything that is necessary today, even to deploy something from the runner, because the agent will have its own kube context pre-configured, and deployments can happen with the agent's context. In later iterations, we want to add user impersonation here so that whatever the user is allowed to do in the cluster, we can do that with the agent, and job impersonation as well, and a few other things. I'm going to speak about that. The fifth is to ship a UI around registering a new agent. Many of you have already tried out setting up the GitLab Kubernetes agent and having a deployment run through it or Selenium integration be triggered. But today, setting up this agent is a pretty tremendous task. You have to switch between different interfaces. You have to write GraphQL queries by hand, even 2 of them, and we want to streamline this process and provide you a nice UI. And finally, something that will remain even once the infrastructure code development will kind of get to a halt is the Terraform provider work that we have beyond the GitLab Terraform provider. It's mostly driven by the community. We have a few issues as well that are kind of internal and that we want to develop there. And these are our goals for the next milestone. But let's see the roadmap to give you a bit better idea what we're working on. What you can see here is that we have been working on jobs to be done for infrastructure as code mostly. It will probably be ongoing work, but nevertheless, it was planned for the current milestone. We managed to roll out the Kubernetes agent on gitlab.com. So since Monday this week, it's available to every gitlab.com user. Feel free to market it among your users or in interviews or any other way. One thing we noticed is that basically the user experience around our documentation is relatively poor, especially with the new changes that we are focusing on the agent. We want to fix that in the next milestone together with Marcia, our technical advisor. The Terraform registry that was already mentioned, it is to be ready by the end of the next milestone. So this is one of our deliverables actually. And we are working on the auto DevOps. As you can see, it won't end at the end of the milestone, but a little bit later. That's our guess. And then there's the removal that should end by the end of 14.0. And I'm going to expand these two epics to give you a better idea of what we plan to do. So we are going to work now on the new agent UI registration that is related to the management interfaces of the agent. And we're going to have work even after that with basic details around the agent status. And we want to provide a status check page on this details page that helps with troubleshooting and kind of says other features as well that the user did not configure or is not aware. On the Kubernetes CI tunnel side, we are working now on providing this agent identity-based CI tunneling. And after that, we want to provide user impersonation. And these might still change, but we have plans on adding it at the group level as well, so that a single agent for the whole group and set up it only at once. And we might want to add CI job impersonation as well, but this is totally unplanned and will happen sometime in the far future. So this is our roadmap. In terms of deliverables, I already told you actually everything, but if you want, you can have a look at our planning board as well. These are all the issues that we are aware of. It's mostly into details, so mostly for the engineers. This was our release kickoff. If you have any questions, please let us know. One interesting thing for the next milestone is that we are mostly without a product designer, as my product designer counterpart is on 2 weeks vacation in the next milestone as well. But with the design we already have prepared and mockups that we can create ourselves, we can probably get along in the next milestone. So that was the kickoff. Thanks for your attention.